Get full episodes of The Damage Report as a podcast on iTunes and Android, and you can watch the live show every weekday on YouTube TV. Despite more and more legalization of marijuana around the country over the past few years, the fear-mongering around marijuana continues. And joining the show now to help break down what is actually going on, what should you be concerned about, what is safe. We have investor and expert in CBD production and chief operating officer of Global Cannabinoids Inc., Ryan Lewis. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Very glad to have you here. So the reason we wanted someone with your expertise on the show is because I saw a segment on Fox and Friends where they had a sheriff in Florida on talking about how marijuana gummies were killing people around the country every single day. And that scared me to my core. So I wanna know the truth. When it comes to these sorts of things, how many people have died, have overdosed from marijuana consumption?
You know, I think I just saw a statistic yesterday that lettuce has killed more people than marijuana. And the reality is the fear mongering is just really carryover from decades and decades of this prohibition mindset. The reality is that THC, the psychoactive compound found in marijuana, is the only psychoactive compound found in marijuana. There's hundreds of medicinally beneficial compounds, and as more and more research is conducted, we're starting to learn about the health benefits that these other compounds have. CBD being one of them, and the most abundant cannabinoid found in hemp, is completely non-psychoactive, has tremendous health benefits for pain, for stress, for anxiety, for sleep. And so as more and more research is conducted, we're learning about this plant and its many uses. And again, THC is only one compound. And like I said, lettuce has killed more people than cannabis. So,
it's interesting that you bring that up because I believe it was Brian Kilmeade. He said that he found it to be hypocritical that people who advocate for marijuana are, on the one hand, talking about its medicinal use in a variety of different areas. They want people to have access to it for that, but then they're also marketing it for recreation or for fun. Do you see anything hypocritical in that?
Well, I do believe that THC is a powerful compound, but if it's used correctly, it's very beneficial and it has its place as a medicine in society. I think it should be regulated the same as alcohol, but look no further than the alcohol industry and the damage that has caused. Look at what tobacco's done. Both of those are highly addictive. And so, the truth of the matter is that yes, THC should be regulated much in the same way as alcohol, as tobacco, but again, there's so many different parts of this plant that are so useful to society and can really replace a vast amount of the pharmaceuticals that people are taking. Look no further than the side effects that they read on most of these commonly prescribed pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, they have drugs now for the side effects of the drugs that people are taking. And the reality here is that there's very minimal side effects associated with marijuana. It makes you hungry, it makes you tired. I mean, it gives you dry eyes.
Yeah, and of course, alcohol makes a lot of people tired as well. And we should point out that many people die every year from alcohol consumption, including auto wrecks and things like that. And lung cancer, despite decades of advocacy about anti-smoking, is still the leading killer when it comes to cancer. So the risks on the other side are not the sort of hypotheticals where we can go looking to try to find one person who is overdosed on marijuana. It is happening in every city across the country every single day. There was another thing that was brought up though. I thought that we had sort of gotten past this idea, but two of the hosts on Fox and Friends were talking about how one of the reasons we should be worried about marijuana is that it is still in this day a gateway drug. And the sheriff agreed and said that very often people who smoke meth started by smoking marijuana. Is that a concern that we should have?
I think it's actually completely ridiculous. I mean, we're talking, they're comparing basically a synthetic compound, a synthetic drug, and those effects to a medicinal plant that has been a part of of mankind since the beginning. The plant has so many different uses. The notion that it's a gateway drug, especially when you compare it to alcohol and tobacco, I think is just absurd. And so to that, I would say we should regulate it exactly the way alcohol and tobacco is regulated.
It's interesting because I'm sort of joking about some of these old like reefer madness style things that they're spreading on Fox and Friends, but I also don't pretend that they're actually representative of what most Americans think about marijuana. You're in this industry. How much progress do you think that there's been over the last decade or two in educating people about the dangers of marijuana versus how it's portrayed, the gateway drug myth, and all of that? Are people starting to get a little bit wiser to the actual risks and benefits?
I think they are. The reality is that as more and more research is conducted, and we learn that you can have extracts from the plant where the THC has been completely removed, and there's other components of the plant like CBG, cannabigerol, cannabichromene, CBC. There's so much attention placed on THC. Again, THC is the only psychoactive compound in the plant. When we remove that from the extract, it's a whole different conversation. Completely different. So there's so many benefits to the plant, and as more and more research comes out about it, it's just going to dispel a lot of the fear mongering and a lot of the misinformation that's been kind of planted in our minds over decades and decades of prohibition. Alcohol went through a period of prohibition, and then look where we're at now. And so I just, again, I say that cannabis and all of the benefits of the plant, as it becomes more and more research, is going to be, a lot of the fears are going to be, basically dispelled.
Well, no, I certainly hope so. Ryan Lewis, thank you for joining us on the show and helping break all this down.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.